Okay, so I've been posting our TikToks this week, and we actually had one that it's probably our most watched and most reacted to
Recently?
TikTok yet. Yeah, this week.
Okay.
It was over 850 views and like 35, 38 reacts,
That sounds
which
great.
for us, yeah, that's wonderful. Uh, but it made me think because it was the Disney no death policy.
Really?
I, I was
Yeah.
actually thinking it was going to be that one.
So here's my question to you guys. If not saying I want this to happen to any of you, but if you could die anywhere in the world, where would you want to die?
At Disney.
At Disney?
Because
You
you
want to
won't
Yeah.
ruin the
die.
no death policy?
I want to break that policy. I want them to have to come up with some bullshit excuse that says he did not die on the property of Disney. And then you guys will be like, it happened. It happened.
Hold on, I got a story that we can tell.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I want to say this is Disneyland. There's a ride called the Carousel of Progress. It is literally a sit down ride where you sit down and there's a stage in front of you. They open the curtains and there's like a little gear or whatever. Well, then as the ride progress, it's a ride. So this is where it becomes a ride. You get through the first scene, and then your seats and everybody else's seats move around, go around a big center stage, and there's each scene. Um, so it's like you're in the 20s, and then you're in the 30s, and you're in the 40s, and so on and so forth. And you end at the like in the future. That being said, here's where I think Disney's no death ever happened policy could work because I don't remember how long ago it was, but there's a story. Before it became the Carousel of Progress, I want to say it was called America Sings.
Hmm.
The girl running the ride got trapped between the spinning wall and the non-spinning wall.
Ouch.
So
That sounds
there's no
painful.
way she survived that.
She gets
So
smushed.
that had to happen on Disney property.
Well, see, what they don't tell you is if somebody dies on that ride, it spins really fast and shoots them out. Well, yeah, jettisons them out of the
Off
park.
property.
Yep. Not declared death on the property.
I want to
What if
die
you
with my.
jumped into like the lion enclosure at Animal Kingdom or something like that?
I don't think you can get to it. Honestly,
I'm just
they've
saying,
got
what
it.
if?
I mean, no, trust me. I mean, it's they've got. And Disney does a great job of hiding stuff.
You're
Like
ruining
you
my
can't.
what if, James.
Yeah, no. There's probably a good 30 to 45 foot moat, and they're
Yeah.
on rocks that are like way above that moat.
Well,
So
what if you swim through the moat? You just really determined to die via lion
you
at
should have
Animal
gone with
Kingdom.
hippo enclosure because I think you get an easier time getting to the hippos than you could the lions,
Those
and they
hippos will
will.
fuck you up.
Yeah, hippos are more deadly than lions. They kill more
Yep.
people
That's
than
true.
lions and gators and stuff.
I'm telling you, James. Just like Jordan's Iron Man status,
Yeah.
Disney's gonna lose it. Yep. Uh-huh. They're
There
no
you go.
death on the property. I don't care if it's like one of us or something. We're finding we're stopping it.
We're gonna be like, "Come here, doctor." He did.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring a doctor with you, and we're
Yes.
making this happen.
James James runs up in a lab coat and he's like, I am a doctor.
I
My
That
can do
name
man
is
this.
is definitely dead.
my name is Dr.
Welcome to the
Dre.
Centerlink Society.
But these are fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you?
Ready to see a grown-ass man cry about some Star Wars and Space Wizard?
You shall have my
Bombadil. Tom Bombadil walks up and he's basically like, "Oi, get off him!" And the tree's like, "Oh my bad."
Let's all have a good time and have fun. But
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Centerway Society.
oh,
That was a weird
smooth
way to
as
start it.
fuck.
I was
Smooth,
gonna
yes.
say,
No,
you're
no, no.
good.
Come on,
It
come on.
felt
Keep
weird
going with
to
it.
start. Welcome back to the Centerway Society.
just
We are.
like radiating. Well, like
Dustin,
what?
shut up! You're ruining it.
No, hold on. What is it
No,
called?
it's fine.
Riz?
It's fine. It's fine.
What do the kids
Um,
call it these days? Riz?
I don't know what the youth say when it comes to this. I'm
Yeah.
a 39-year-old man that's doing a podcast. I don't
Way
know
to
Yeah.
what
age
You're
yourself.
radiating with it so much you don't even have a name for
stuff is radiating off me. It's like nuclear energy, baby.
it. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, welcome
Chernobyl
back
of
to the
Riz.
Centerway Society. I'm Rob. Hello, welcome back to the show. With me, as always, is James
Oh, hello, sir.
and Dustin
Hi.
and Jordan, who's not here.
And
He's
Force Ghost
starting a new
narrator
streak.
Aaron.
And Force Case, he's
Force Ghost narrator Aaron. Yeah, he's with us in spirit.
insert Aaron's voice here now. You're completely right, Aaron. I got to do that in post. Oh my
Whoa.
God, my light just turned purple.
Bro,
What the
that was
fuck?
just like insane.
Oh, that was so weird.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Like right
Hold on.
after we mentioned Force Ghost Aaron.
Maybe he is here.
Aaron, stop. The dark side of the Force will seduce you.
No. Hold on.
Wow.
Hold on. I have my remote control. Oh, that's worse.
This is the wrong way.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
My allegiance is to democracy.
Anyways, welcome back to the show. Hi. We're probably gonna just leave that in just because it's funny.
That was
But we
great.
are here to talk about our favorite things. Like we mentioned last week, we want to bring some levity and some enjoyment to this show. So I think every now and then we just need to talk about some of our favorite things about movies.
You don't think
whether
Death at Disney is very livid?
we want to talk about some of our favorite things about movies, whether it's like fight scenes or just a specific scene that we really enjoy. But today I thought, because this was been in my brain for a while now, is I want to talk about some of our favorite monologues in film, whether that is TV, whether it's movies, whatever you want. I mean, we're just going to talk about some of our favorite actors saying some good words.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. All by
like,
themselves.
like, is
For
that
the
something
most
you
part.
guys enjoy about
Yeah.
movies, or is that just something that I'm just like super interested in?
It really just kind of depends.
I
'Cause
think
I was
Go
just
ahead,
gonna say,
James.
because there's like times where it's a perfect monologue or it's something cool, and then there's other times you're just kind of like, okay, you're drawing this out, let's go on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
I-
it needs to be delivered in a certain way for
Yeah.
it to be like truly iconic. And I know Jordan hates that word. We're sorry, Jordan. But at the same time, it's some of these monologues are just so good that
Mhm.
it makes the movie.
It does.
So
It's a very power play in a
Yeah.
scene, like the actor comes in and takes command and kind of puts everybody in their place sometimes,
yeah. And honestly, a lot of it can drive the movie and drive certain points that you may not have seen and make it work. So
Mhm.
And probably where I would like to start is uh, someone who was not really known for their dramatic chops, although they had it in spades. And honestly, this was the first movie I ever saw him in where he played a serious role. And that's Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting.
I fucking love this movie.
That is such a great movie. But the scene where he's sitting there with Matt Damon, and it was right after the first meeting they had, and they're just sitting out by the park. They're at the park, they're like by the lake, and he just talks about how, yeah, you may know this and you may know that, and you may have read all these books and have all the knowledge in the world, but you haven't experienced shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I've Robin Williams, I loved Mrs. Doubtfire. He was a genie in Aladdin. At that point in my life, I had seen so much of his stuff, like just like goofy, kind of just a lot of fun stuff that Robin Williams just does. This is the first time I've ever seen him in a dramatic role. And it was also the first, and I think only Oscar he's ever won was for this movie. And it was just, compelled by it every time I've ever watched it.
That's the same one where he's talking about like, yeah, you can see a picture of the Sistine Chapel, whatever the fuck he's talking
Yeah.
about, and he's like, but you don't know what it smells like. You don't
You don't
know.
know what it's like to stand there and look up at this painting and
Yeah,
just be mesmerized by it.
I that that
If I
movie.
ask you about war, you can quote Shakespeare and once more into the breach, my dear friends, but you don't know what it's like to hold your friend's life in your hands. It's just like the entire thing. Like he draws you in, and it's not like out of anger. It's not out of, it is just actual fact. Like he is laying it down, and it's so good.
And
It,
we've all had like somebody who's needed to do that with us.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's one of those things where you can relate to it. So it's like somebody's got to bring you back to reality, pretty much.
yeah. But one of
100%.
the most important things about that scene too is good, you know, like I almost called him Goodwill. Will is one of the smartest people in the world, but he really needs to be taught a lesson in that moment.
Yeah,
Really, that it's not about being the smartest, and it's not about proving a point to everybody that you've known, and like it's really about going out and like living your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
that's what
got
I love about it because it's like he needs to, part of his mandated parole is that he seeks therapy and he keeps driving these therapists away. And Robin Williams, Sean McGuire, the name of the character, is the one guy he's not going to drive away. And he's saying, like, listen, I can't learn anything about you that I can't learn from a book. Do you think I know what it's like to how hard your life has been because I read Oliver Twist? And I just love that, like, Will is just like so like stopped. He's just like, oh shit, maybe this guy's got something on me. And I love how he ends it. He just gets up and he's like, your move, chief, and walks away.
Mm.
Power
I
play.
I don't know if I've ever told you this, Rob. I met Robin Williams.
yeah, jerk.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm. It was it was maybe a year or two before he died.
Yeah.
When I was working at the movie theater in MacArthur Mall, as a projectionist, he came to see Where the Wild Things Are with I don't know if that was his girlfriend or his wife or whatever, but he
Yeah.
was doing a college tour where he came and spoke at different colleges, and he was at ODU. Didn't have anybody with him. He literally just walked in the mall and saw the movie. I got a picture with him.
That is
He
so cool.
yeah, he was a little upset, you know, and
What,
all.
that you got a picture with him or?
Well, he was very much like I don't really want to be bothered and stuff, and I just want to leave and stuff. So it was like we got our photos, and then people started like surrounding him and you know,
Yeah.
trying to tell him how much they meant, you know, he meant to
I mean, I
him.
can kind of
Yeah.
understand that because I'm sure, especially once you get to a certain point, it's just like, all right, guys, I just want to just leave me the hell alone. I appreciate that you want to tell me how much like my
Mhm.
films mean to you, but at the same time, I just want to watch the fucking movie.
Yeah. And I was
So,
standing at the, you know, the doorway to the theater screaming like, "You were the bomb and flopper," and shit. So I don't know if he enjoyed that, but
all right.
Can I
well,
just
I'm
say
joking
though?
for the record.
Can I just say though that like Will, even though he's like the smartest guy out there, had one of the worst like FUs in history. Like it was one of the worst, but one of the best. Like, do you like apples?
How you like them
Yeah,
apples?
like it was
That was
cool.
fantastic.
It was stupid, but it was cool at the same time. Like you
Do
think about it,
you
somebody who
like
doesn't
apples? It's
like
like,
if you're
yeah.
think
He's like,
about if you were the guy who's
well,
like
I got
sitting
a
there.
number. How do you like them apples? And that just started a whole thing.
And then
Yeah.
It
it
was,
comes back, and Jay and Silent Bob strike
yeah.
back, and he's like, "I don't know if I like them apples." Will.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah,
Do you guys have one? Who's got one?
I do. Well,
Yes.
oh, speaking of anecdotes,
Oh,
mm-hmm. Uh, the Reservoir Dog anecdote scene, I think,
Yeah.
is one of the coolest monologues because not only is it progressing the story, but it takes place in the past, present, and future of the story.
Yeah.
Tim Roth is he's infiltrating like a little crime ring, and he's trying to like charm them and stuff, and also prove that he is a criminal as well. So he's telling his story about how he was like smuggling some drugs
Yeah.
and he just barely eluded the cops and he kept his cool in that situation. And it's just really cool how it progresses. The story's being told to him and then he starts practicing
Yeah.
and then you get to see the progression. I just think it's a very cool scene.
I
Have
agree.
you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a really long time, but
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
think the last time I watched it was when the first time I watched it, Dustin had me sitting there watching it at his house.
Did I make you watch that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things. Yeah,
You got to see
I do
the
like Tim Roth.
Oh, he is a great
He's
actor.
very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. James, you
so
got one?
yeah. So speaking of like guys who like to use pew pews, and you
Sus.
know, you gotta say that or else you'll get canceled, um, or demonetized or not or banned from TikTok. We can't get banned from TikTok. That's our main source of love right now. So,
Main source of
but
views.
yeah, and also Dustin forcing me to watch a movie. Um, I went with Boondock Saints, the courtroom scene. It's not a monologue, it's like a
I
speech.
mean, it's I don't know what to categorize it as because it's
It's
almost like a call and response between the brothers, and then the prayer is all three of them.
yeah.
So I guess it would work as a monologue.
It's different. It's like a different kind of monologue in my opinion. Because
Well,
it's
Okay, I
almost
mean,
mono
like
literally
they're
means one.
yeah,
But
but I mean they're all doing it. It's like one speech done by three different guys.
mhm.
in
As
three different
yeah,
voices.
yeah, three different voices. And it's just it's powerful too, because it's that spot where they've literally been going through this whole movie, just taking out the mob and stuff, trying to clean up the city. And they start with the Russians. Well, then it turns out that the Italians are the same thing. And this guy's just in his court hearing, just sitting there bull crapping.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's gonna get off. They really don't
He's
have
been
nothing.
untouchable for years.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, boom, doors kick open, and there they are. And I mean, they're just dropping line after line, like,
Yeah.
give us your pork, give us your hungry. It's what they're saying that's powerful too, because it's they've lived in this area and they're ready for all this crap to stop.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, that is a very powerful scene. I love Boondock Saints. That is such a great movie. And that is not why I have that tattoo, by the way. Um, if you look at the rest of my arm, it's all Celtic stuff anyway. So it's just part of a longer sleeve that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But I do
And
love a
you
Celtic cross.
wake up
So
every morning and listen to,
Dropkick Murphys. Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
Like
We
I
lost
That
our
that
wooden
that
literally,
is a
leg.
very powerful scene from a very good movie.
Hmm.
I
The second
literally
movie was
memorized the
not
prayer.
as good, but
They left it on a cliffhanger too, right? And I don't know when three's coming out.
oh god, there doesn't need to be a
that
third one.
was
I'm
that
okay
was
with there
such
not being a
that was
third
such a
one.
crazy cliffhanger. You're like, whoa! And I mean, they're in like this. They're in the
Yeah.
pokey.
Uh-huh.
So Caitlin, because I was talking to my wife about this a particular episode and what we're doing, and I asked her if she had any, and hers kind of leads into my second one, sort of, because it does involve the same actor. Hers is the Gettysburg speech from Remember the Titans. Because honestly, what Caitlin told me, she's like, really anything Denzel Washington has ever said.
Oh,
Because
okay. I see where we're
Denzel
going with
is
this.
Oh
amazing.
man, he's yeah.
But he wakes up like the entire team and they go for a run. And at the end of the run, they're at the battlefield in Gettysburg. And he's talking about how they're still sitting fighting the same fights they were fighting back then, and that it never seems to end, and that maybe we can come together, maybe we can make it work. And it was just pretty much Denzel speaks, and it's just powerful.
Well, the crazy part too is like he's talking about where the battle happened, and
Yeah,
that's where like one of the most powerful speeches in history of the
that's true.
world, man, has
That's
happened.
true.
Like
The
I
Gettysburg
still
Address.
yeah, I still get goosebumps when I go to the Hall of Presidents, and even though it's robotic Lincoln telling you it, it's still one of those like speeches that you're just like, dang, that's it
Well,
still
you're not
hits
going to
hard.
hear actual Lincoln tell you this thing.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
That's the best we're gonna get is that or Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
But just the fact, and when you put that up, it didn't even click to me until you put that up there
yeah.
about that speed. I was like, man, I can't tell you how many times I watched Remember the Titans in a row.
When I was in ROTC in high school, a lot of times we would not do anything. And our instructors would be like, "Oh, let's just put on a movie," and we'd watch Remember the Titans at least once a week, conservatively. It was
Wow.
just a really good movie,
It
and
was.
B, it was just like, what videos do we have? Should we watch something that pertains to the class? Nah, let's watch Remember the Titans.
Because why not?
It pertains to class. It's done at a school.
It's at leadership,
Yeah.
I guess. So, but the opposite side of the coin to that particular Denzel Washington character is my next one, and that's Denzel in Training Day.
Mm.
Yeah. That other speech didn't have shit on this speech.
Like the entire movie is just like I remember Denzel just very like just seemed like he was always doing something and it was always positive. It was always like Preacher's Wife and then no not the Preacher's Wife where
Yeah,
he plays
Preacher's
the
Wife.
angel, Remember the Titans, and there were all these movies and I'm sure there were movies before this, but I just had never seen it. But Training Day was the first movie I saw where it was just like, oh, Denzel does other things too.
Yeah.
But when he's standing there and just yelling at everyone and King Kong ain't got shit on me and just like spit flying out of his mouth. And he's
Mhm.
just like, none of you ain't got nothing on me. And I was like, Denzel ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah, because he was a man who thought he was too big to fail. And
Exactly.
he's broken in that moment because
Yeah.
he can't comprehend the fact that he just lost, you know?
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
Denzel is
Fantastic
so
speech.
good.
Yeah.
Denzel is so good.
You were blowing up the chat this week, stealing all the
I
good ones. That's all I
He
got.
really did.
I told you guys throw them in the chat before
Yeah.
me and you guys can make it work.
I got ready to throw one in the chat and you threw it in there. I was like, ah! That was
Oh, are you talking about
Damn it.
yeah, the one we've already discussed on the podcast before.
you go ahead and take it, man.
Oh, all right. Well,
Run
let's
with it.
do it. Let's go back to our summer blockbusters month, y'all. And we're gonna talk about Jaws. And the monologue. My brain is fried
The
from this week.
USS
Yeah,
Indianapolis.
the US. No, I knew the boat. I just can't remember his name right now.
Oh, oh, it's Robert Shaw's character.
Yeah, I almost called him
Mhm.
Shaw just now, but that's his actual
Is
name.
oh my God, what's his name? This is why we need Jordan. Jordan, where are you?
But just
Force Ghost narrator Aaron, what's the name?
Dustin, you're gonna have to get him to record some of this
Yeah.
stuff and send it in.
I'll
Force Ghost
try. Fuck,
narrator
I don't know.
Aaron. Quint. Quint.
Quint, yes.
Yeah.
Quint.
But
Thank you,
like,
Force Ghost narrator Aaron.
He's like,
but
I
he's
got you,
just like,
Rob.
but he's just sitting there and he's just, they're all happy go lucky at first and they start, going over the
You're telling
scars.
stories and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he just drops this and it goes from to oh hell.
Like this
Mhm.
guy's
Is it-
seen some shit.
They're
Yeah,
like hanging out, and he's like, "You see this one? See this one right here? That's from a Healy accident back in 2001." Yeah.
dang those hillies,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean it literally goes from like 0 to 60 within a second.
that's true.
Because just the emotion. I mean, you can just see the emotion coming through the actor too,
Yeah.
through Robert Shaw. It was just amazing.
But like at the end of it, where he's just like, and when the boat showed up to save them, and he's like, that was the most scared because I didn't know when my turn was going to be, and I didn't know if I was going to make it. And
It's
he's like, out of 1,100 men that went into the sea, only 300 survived.
and that's like the crazy part too is it's a true story.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that is
real.
like it's like I mean they're not they think they're oceanic white tips, which those are very aggressive sharks for being
Yeah.
small. But like
Oh, that
it gets
Shark
brought.
Week knowledge coming out right
Yeah,
now all at
buddy.
once.
They've done like at least 3 things on the Indianapolis. But it is freaky to see. Like they actually get some of these people to come on and talk. And some of them are it's like watching Robert Shaw. Just sit there
Yeah.
and tell his story on it. So it's insane.
Absolutely.
What's
What
you
do you
got,
got for
Dustin?
us, Dustin?
All right, I got one. I got one for you guys. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Huh?
Damn,
No one thought of this one.
it's May
Okay.
already.
I didn't. I feel bad for not thinking of it, but honestly, I was hoping to rely on you guys for a few more
Thank
versus me throwing out every single one.
Okay, so to be completely honest, I like this one more as a meme more than anything.
Yeah.
But in the context of like greater lore, it is pretty amazing because he's sitting here and he's talking with Anakin and he's burying the lead that he's the one who fucking murdered him, you know? And he's given him everything he needs in that moment. He knows what he's going through, and he's basically like, I can keep your wife from dying. It's exactly what he wants to hear. The Jedi are telling
Yeah.
him that he's not allowed to have attachments, that he's not allowed to look into basically any ways of preventing this horrible future that he's seeing in his dreams. And Plagueis is like, I got you, son. Dark side. We got cookies. Yeah. Outside of that, it's just kind of a funny meme. And there's
That
that
is a
song
really
that
good scene, though.
it is.
It
It's
is.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's definitely a good scene. And honestly,
Yeah.
you could just tell that Anakin is like dialed into it too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is there any way to learn this? Not from a Jedi. Yeah.
all right. So I got another one from Caitlin because Caitlin, I told her about this and she just gets really excited. Like, this is like, she wants to be on the show sometime.
Yeah.
So,
I'll let you get back to this in a second, but like, isn't that amazing when you talk to people outside of the podcast and they get super involved in what you're talking about that week?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, oh, I got an episode idea for you and shit. And like,
Yeah.
talk about this. It's like,
Caitlin does want to be on the show sometime. So,
all right, we'll tell her. Anytime she
yeah.
wants to argue about whales versus force whales, I got her.
All right. Uh,
Mhm.
You guys have not seen Barbie, I'm assuming.
I just watched it. It was fucking
Did-
fantastic.
It is such an amazing movie.
It really that movie has no right to be as good as it was.
It was so good. And I'm still disappointed that Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for Best Director and Margot Robbie did not get nominated for Best Actress. Because
Ryan
Margot
Gosling
Robbie,
got it right.
Ryan got it's the patriarchy, I tell you.
But it makes total sense in the context of the film. That was the only reason I watched it, by the way. Ryan Gosling, he got
was
nominated
fantastic.
for
He was
greatest
so
actress.
good.
If my understanding is correct, right?
No, it was Best Actor.
I thought it was actress.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Anyways, moving
It
on.
was like a technicality because it somehow means like secondary. Anyway,
Best Supporting.
maybe that's
Actor.
what fuck, I don't know. Anyway,
Anyways, moving on. But America Ferrero, when like Barbie's like literally broken down and she starts talking about what it's actually like to be a woman.
oh yeah, it was a great speech. Yeah.
That was so good. It's like, you can't be this, but you have to be this and this, that, and yeah. I'm just like,
Uh-huh. You
I
can't
when I first watched that, I looked at Caitlin, I was like, I am so sorry for everything that ever happened ever in the history of man. And I'm so sorry. Because
I-
it was James, you just have to watch it.
oh,
Because I can't do it justice, and I'm not about to. Because
It's
I don't
good.
want people yelling at me.
I never was expecting to see Dustin light up like that. That's where my
It was so
Whoa.
good.
dude, I'm buying me I am Knuff shirt.
I have
Like,
one.
do you really?
Yes.
Yeah, it's what he was using for his photo, like when we were in
Yeah,
the photo
hold on.
thing. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
I went and saw Wonka and it sucked.
Well, you watched the wrong movie. It was
Yeah.
between
You did.
Oppenheimer and this, and I'm not sure which one was.
honestly, Barbie was such a good movie.
It was.
Caitlin, because she went and saw it in theaters and we were recording one night and she came home and I had her like on the show be like, all right, what'd you think of the movie, Caitlin? She's like, it was so good. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it
She
was.
had the Barbie
Then-
doll.
Yeah, she brought her Barbie doll with her.
Mhm.
But she was just saying like it was just such a good movie. And I watched it with her, and I'm just like, you know what? She's right. This was such a good movie.
I'm saying this is like a guy who's watched some like weird ass shit. Like I at one point thought that
Boom.
that is great. Um I at one point thought like the end of Evangelion had the weirdest, most like mind trippy fucking ending
Yeah.
ever. And then I saw the end of Barbie and I was like, are we experiencing this right now? This like out of world experience where like creator is talking to creation and telling them that they can exist. It's fuck.
It blows your mind.
Yeah. Anyway, I know this isn't a Barbie episode. We can have a Barbie episode if you want. I'd talk about
Caitlin
this.
would do that. Caitlin would be down.
Would she?
Yes, she would.
I'll
All right.
I'm
So
down.
I've got multiple One Piece ones. Like it
Okay.
was hard to choose from.
Okay, we're gonna lose Rob if you got to choose like one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna choose that. This one works out well though. It works for the time or like the real world too.
Okay.
Mhm.
But when does a man truly die? So the scene is this doctor is dying, and it's crazy. The country is forcing all the doctors to just work for the king, not work for anybody else. They're killing off all the doctors who won't, and he's against it. So he goes to the king and he's going to kill himself, or kill him and take out like a bunch of the king's people. Try to take out the king too. And he's standing there and he's going off on this tangent, but he literally starts talking about when does a man die? When does a man truly die? Is it when he's stabbed? Is it when his heart stops beating? Is it when he eats a poison mushroom from a soup? In
That was
context,
awfully specific.
he was fed a poison mushroom in a soup by his apprentice
He,
by
he was
accident.
murdered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by accident. So
By accident.
yeah, and he goes, "No, it's when a man is forgotten." But it when he's, I think what makes it so powerful is that forgotten is like he's really talking about, the man's memory never really dies if it's passed through generations.
Yeah.
That's very true. One Piece, I think one of the best things it does throughout the entire series is keep that theme of great men doing as much as they can while they're alive and dying before they fulfilled their purpose,
Yeah.
and then that purpose living on through another generation. Like it continuously, another person will spring up and carry on their will generation to generation, hundreds of years later, no matter how oppressive governments get,
Mhm.
how, how people are oppressed. It's just, it continues.
And
Yeah.
there's so many in One Piece that you could choose from, and there's like one of them is Dofi talking about what the government, who's the bad guys, who's the good guys,
Mhm.
and then there's Jinbei talking about how you need to live on with your brother's memory. There's it all just connects really when you actually think about it.
Yeah.
So.
So if you're listening at home, it's only like 1,100 episodes. Go
Oh, only
watch.
1100.
Hey, I'm at
Yeah.
740. So
He's been diving into it.
yeah,
Very proud of you, George James. Good
thank
job.
you.
Jordan
Yeah,
James.
we're the weebs if you can't tell from
All
the
right, Dustin, what do you
shills.
got? You got another one?
Oh, it's on me again. Holy shit. Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on. Ah, okay. You want to, how about, okay, Pulp Fiction,
Ooh, another
the
good one.
Wrath of God speech. At least that's
Oh,
what
I
I'm
thought we was going with
nicknaming
the
it.
cheeseburger one.
It
You know
takes
what they
place
call a
right
quarter
before
pounder and
a Royale with cheese.
That's a more of a dialogue than a
Yeah,
monologue.
that's
I know I
been
was being
back
stupid.
before.
Yeah.
No. There's no like deeper meaning behind the speech as far as I can tell. It's just a cool ass speech, just in all honesty.
Yeah.
You have this man who's come in here and he's trying to put the fear of God in him. And in all honesty, if you know anything about the Bible, the speech he's giving is like not in the Bible at all whatsoever. It's just kind of this what the fuck moment, like right
Yeah.
before you die, I guess. And oddly enough, it kind of plays out because he's talking about being a child of God and being, his right hand and shit like that. They fire a gun at him and Travolta's character, and they don't get hit. And it creates this like foundation for the rest of the film
Yeah.
where he's misquoting scripture, which is kind of odd. And seemingly God protects him for a greater purpose
Hmm,
throughout the film.
that's
I
true.
don't know if anybody else gathered that from the film, but that's what I got.
It's been a while since I watched Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Really? You guys aren't a fan?
No, dude, I love Tarantino.
Uh-huh.
It's just been a while. Like I think I honestly my favorite Tarantino film is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
So I'll watch
that
that a
was a
lot.
really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing his final film right now.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. I want to say it's called The Critic or The Movie Critic. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to the small screen now. And
Television.
one of my favorite shows, ahem. Um, Ted Lasso has so many just really great, like, small monologues. And if James was a little further along, there are much better ones in season 2 and 3. Yes, Dustin.
I just realized that it looks like the dialogue on your desk says "Believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie."
Poor Jordan. That's why he should be here.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Please believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Anyways, moving on.
Believe.
But I will pull from season 1 because there's, like I said, there are better ones in season 2 and especially in season 3 as they're starting to wrap up the series. But it's the most famous one, and that is the dart game, where Ted is put on the line. Rupert, uh, the ex-husband and former owner of Richmond, has come in to own a small stake in the team. And since he is now back to being an owner of the team, he can be in the owner's box and he can talk to the press and just rip the team apart in the press. So Ted decides to challenge him to a game of darts, and he's just like tossing offhanded. And he's basically
It's
goads him into a game.
they both are trying to hustle each other is what it looks
Yes. Whereas, like, Rupert, the character that he challenges, opens up a little, like, his little, almost like, it almost looks like a cigarette book,
Mm-hmm.
like people used to have, where there's like a line of cigarettes, where it's really just darts. And then Ted's just like, oh, right, I forgot I'm left-handed, and then starts throwing. And at the end of the game, he starts talking about how he's always underestimated. And the biggest thing about this, the biggest takeaway from the monologue was that people should be more curious than judgmental. And
like. It was
while he's giving this speech, and it's like talking about how it used to bother him, but then it just kind of like, it was never about what they thought about me. It was about them. Because if they were curious, they'd ask questions. Like, do you play a lot of darts, Ted? And he throws a dart and it lands. Because he has to get like 2 triple 20s and a bullseye in order to win the game. And to get Rupert to stop coming to the games.
Uh-huh.
And he said, and if they asked that, I'd say, yes, sir. Every Sunday at a sports bar with my father from age of 10 to 16 when he passed away.
So he's
And
trying to prove a point by saying that, like, because he seemed unassuming, like he was underestimated, and
Yeah.
like
yes,
if you
And the-
were a more like
yeah,
curious
and he's-
person and asked more about people, you would have known that you shouldn't have gone into this match.
exactly.
Well, the biggest part too is he's doing this to Rupert, but at the same time, you don't realize, and I didn't realize it till like the third time I watched it. He's also talking to the people behind him in the sports bar or in the pub that
Yeah.
he's at because they're like some of his biggest critics.
Yeah, because they're fans of the team
Yeah.
and they talk constant shit about him. But he's just like takes it all. He's just like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I have no clue what I'm doing either. But that's the thing. And over the series, he turns people around on him to where the point where like he has the support of the community and the people around like him and think he's a good manager. So it's an incredible speech and honestly just such a great show. I love Ted Lasso.
That's some good writing because, like, honestly, if it was like the same scene, but like he pulled a quarter from behind his ear or some shit, they would have been
Yeah.
like fucking lame. Like, oh, you could do magic tricks, Ted Lasso. So cool. Like,
Yeah, but
oh, should have.
it
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send it to you, Dustin, just so you can.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I put it in the chat.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
I will get around to it. I swear. It might take me another 5 years, but I'll do it.
But he will
Honestly, I
get
think
there.
it was a clip of something that made me go and well, let me watch Ted Lasso.
It's just a good show. It's
I
just really a nice show.
I have never met a person that watched it and did not say it was good and
Yeah.
worth watching.
So that should tell you something.
It does.
Do you guys
Probably
have any
good.
more?
Yeah,
Or-
well,
I
while
do.
we're on oh, you go ahead, Dustin. I'll finish it with a comedy one.
A comedy one. Okay.
Oh, I got like 3 more. So
Oh, you
I'll
okay?
finish mine.
I've
then.
got a lot.
Okay. Well, I got my last good one. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Breaking Bad, which Rob, you said you have not seen.
You got one more because I gave you one.
Oh, okay. I know what it was.
So you got
Okay.
one more after that.
Okay, I got one more after this. Okay. I forgot. It's been a long day, Rob. Okay. Anyway, Breaking Bad. Rob, you have not seen it, correct?
Nope.
James, have you seen it? He has not seen it.
That's
Okay.
a no.
So Breaking Bad is the story of Walter White. He was a chemistry professor. The dude is a genius, right? And he had started a company with 2 of his friends and got into a situation where he desperately needed some money and took a buyout of his own company for like, I think it was like, I don't know, like $1,000 or something. And then it became like the biggest company in the world. And the dude is like a high school professor
Yeah.
making the bare minimum amount of money and finds out one day, despite never smoking cigarettes, never doing anything like that, that he has lung cancer. And he's about to leave his family with all of his medical bills
Yeah.
and all of the debt. Like he's just now having like a kid. He has like a kid with disabilities at the moment. And he's just like, I can't do this. Right. And ends up making crystal meth with like one of his previous students because through a series of events he finds out that the kid does crystal meth and like makes it and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a smart enough guy, I can figure this out. But throughout the course of the series, he is a horrible fucking man. I just want to point that out, right? And he
Oh,
keeps
he's
on
not the
telling.
world's best dad?
No, he's an awful man.
Jamie?
Yeah, no, he is really awful. He through the course of the series, he tells people that he's doing it for the right reasons and he is trying to leave them in a financially good spot and oh, I have to murder somebody, but it's for the right reasons. And he's been using all these lies. He's been lying to everybody he knows and masking the truth. And then there's this moment where his wife Skylar confronts him and she's like, what if somebody comes here and kills us? What if, like, these are dangerous people? And the facade breaks for like the first time in front of her. And he says, I am the danger. I am the one who stands at the door and knocks. And it's just this like chilling fucking moment of realization when you realize that this man is the monster. He is not a good man doing bad things. He is a bad man who's been pretending to be good throughout this entire series.
That's intense, man.
It is. It is it is fucking chilling. If you haven't watched it for any goddamn reason, Breaking Bad might be the best series of television there is. It is fantastic. and it ends on a fantastic note.
Except there's a bug involved at some point.
A bug.
The bug
Yeah.
episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
the fucking Ryan Johnson episode. Jordan's wrong. It is the worst episode of Breaking Bad. He likes it because it's different. And you know what? It's different because it's bad.
So what you're saying is they broke the streak with a bad episode. So it was
Yes,
the
they broke
break.
bad with that episode. Yes,
Yeah.
I see what you're going for there. You're the dad jokes are coming through.
Just Fast and Furious. Okay, I got one, and this is from a master of the craft. Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. Because at this point, because it's towards the end of the movie, and he goes to a parole hearing, and the board is there. And he's an older man now. And he's just like, I've been in prison for so many years, and honestly, I just don't give a flying fuck anymore.
If you let me out,
And
I'll do it again.
I like that SNL did a skit like that,
Yeah.
where it's like Keenan Thompson was just like I would like a man. And it's just like very similar. We're like, no, we are going to kill you. You are not going to be on parole. But no, in this particular scene where it's like, do you feel like you've been rehabilitated? And like, that's a made up word. That is nonsense to me. If I could go back and talk to that man, I would, and I'd tell him not to do it. But at the same time, you just check whatever box you need to check because I don't care. And the
Yeah.
guy just stares at him. And the very next thing you see is him stamping approved. And he gets paroled. I was just like, but Morgan Freeman is just a master of just being able to pull you in.
Oh, he's
And so
got like the best voice in
he
cinema.
does.
Mhm.
Him, Denzel, Sam Jackson, because because it's all like different degrees of being able to just deliver. So, but I just that's I have two more after this. So I know you guys have. I know Dustin has one more.
I've got
I
two. I realized I have two.
You have two.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I could do two, but
All right. If you could do two, that's good. All right. If you guys want.
So let's go back to the 1980s, guys.
Okay.
Where it's our time. Our time down here.
oh my
Oh,
fucking god.
Animal House.
No, that's Goonies, my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah, it's
That is
Goonies.
Oh, is it
Goonies, my
Goonies?
friend.
Okay,
Yes.
my bad.
Goonies never say die.
Yeah, Goonies
Goonies
say
never
die.
give monologues.
Yeah. The craziest part is this awesome little monologues coming from what 12-year-old
Mhm.
Sean Astin.
Yep.
So I mean, and then he goes on to give another great monologue in Lord of the Rings. So I mean, the guys. I mean, the guy's an obviously good actor, even though
Oh,
he doesn't take like the greatest roles.
nobody
But
put Lord of the Rings on their list?
I had it on mine actually. I just
Wow.
thought about it, and that's why I brought it up, is because I thought about it as I was talking about Sean Astin. The speech where he's talking to Frodo about carrying on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
Although
really good.
also at the end of Two Towers,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I forgot
Mr.
the end.
Frodo.
Like, there's goodness in the world, and it's worth fighting for.
We could do
Sean
this.
Astin is so good.
He is. He was the hero of that movie.
Sam
That
is
speech
the
should.
hero.
Yeah.
Sam's the hero.
Mhm.
Go see them play
In
live
just
because
about
they're
every
very good.
movie.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. He's
Sorry.
like, you really shouldn't have been chosen as the ring bearer, Mr. Frodo. It should have been me.
You're really bad at your job, Mr. Frodo.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna have to do it for you, I
You
guess.
keep
Yeah.
trusting this little bald feller over here.
Yeah. You
Oh,
keep
that
bitching and
fucker.
complaining, but I'll carry you on my back all the way up to Mount Mordor.
But like even like when we're just saying, like he was a kid and he's dropping this little monologue down, getting wet. I mean, it had to be wet and cold stuff on the soundstage, but it to this day it still inspires so many people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And a powerful speech from such a young kid is not
Yeah.
easy.
No joke.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
Dustin.
Oh, it's me again. Okay.
Yes, it's back to
me
you.
again, Margaret.
Okay. Let me give you the easy one, I guess. Uh, this one was suggested to me, but it makes a lot of sense. The Taken speech. The
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it is
you could let
probably
her
one of the
go.
most iconic
That's true. At
Jordan
this point,
monologues and cinema, where his daughter gets kidnapped and he's like, I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you and I'll murder your ass.
Have y'all ever seen Seth MacFarlane doing the
yes,
Taken speech as Kermit the
Graham
Frog?
Norton. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was on
James, can
Graham
you
Norton.
look up
oh,
the speech and do it real quick?
I probably could actually.
I will find
We'll,
you,
we'll save
and
that for
I
the
will
end.
kill
That'll be
you.
our closer.
So,
Okay.
all right. So my next one, second to last, small screen once again. Have you guys ever watched Newsroom with Jeff Daniels?
No, I
I've seen
haven't.
clips of it.
So Jeff Daniels, who is Newsroom, was done right after The West Wing, and it was done by Aaron Sorkin.
Same guy?
Aaron Sorkin is the one who created The West Wing. He also wrote and directed The American President with Michael Douglas, also starring Martin Sheen. And honestly, a lot of the people from The West Wing, like especially side characters, were in The American President too, and they actually show up in Newsroom as well.
Wait, the same characters?
Not the same characters. It's not the same characters. It's just Aaron Sorkin. But Newsroom
Oh,
is about basically a 24-hour news channel and one of the shows that they do. Jeff
is
Daniels plays the anchor for the show.
is it
But
Isn't it
this
fire?
like a
honestly, I really love it.
isn't it like a
But
take on like Fox News or something like that?
no, he is a Republican,
Yeah,
but it's very much from a leftist point of view.
gotcha.
Regardless, this is literally the most famous scene from that show, and that is America is not the greatest country anymore. And he goes on like this entire rant about what America is best or like ranked number one for and what they aren't. But he like tears this college student apart and these two people who are on the panel with him. And then he's like, at the end, he's like, we weren't like this before.
And then he
We have
whips
just
out
been
his MAGA hat.
I was
no,
just thinking,
no,
damn
but
it,
that's the
Trump
thing.
stole
It's
it.
not. He starts talking about how we were we were never this scared before. We did things because they were right. We did things because they were moral. And now we just do it because we're scared.
Not
And it's like,
because they were easy, because they were hard.
but he's like the greatest thing about it is like the reason we were able to be all these things is because we were well informed by like news people who were not afraid to tell the truth. And like, and then like at the end of it, it's just like so quiet you can hear a pin drop because it was the professor on the stage that asked him like what makes America the greatest country in the world, and he wouldn't let him go without giving like an actual answer. So
I think
when
I've
like
seen this speech before,
you
actually.
probably
Yeah.
have, but it's just like you what is like just a moment where it's so quiet you could hear a pin drop, and he looks over at the professor and he's like, is that enough? And this like end of that scene. But dude, go and find it. It is such a good scene. And Jeff Daniels is amazing. I wish I saw him in To Kill a Mockingbird. Because he did the stage rendition of To Kill a Mockingbird where he plays Atticus Finch, which was also produced by Aaron Sorkin.
By the way, I just looked at it in the chat. I have seen the speech before. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
it is
I
amazing.
was gonna
I
say it
did
made
not.
the
It is.
rounds around like at least Facebook and like all the other stuff for a
Oh yeah.
while.
Yeah. Man,
So
I did not know that. I love me some West Wing.
well, this is new sure. It's on HBO Max.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I liked that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's similar.
Mm.
So anyways, who's who wants to take
I think it's my turn.
yeah, it's
Go
your
James.
turn.
So let's
Go
get
James.
goofy.
Oh God, because mine aren't goofy at all.
We're gonna go to the Animal House.
Oh God.
Come on, guys, think about it. This is one of the craziest yet like best speeches out there because he's just yeah, like he's just spouting nonsense. Like, did we quit when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? And one guy goes to interrupt. They're like, hold on. He's onto something here. Let him cook.
Let him
Let him
cook.
cook, And he just keeps going on. And then all of a sudden he starts naming all these people. So-and-so dead. Da-da-da, dead. And he says another name. And then all of a sudden they start joining in with him. Dead, yeah. He may be psychotic, but he's right. And then he goes on to be a politician at the end of the movie. They tell you that he's like a politician.
That's true. Yeah. I
So it's
saw
like
that.
one of the funniest things. Like, you just don't expect John Belushi's character, to just bust this out.
Now, now is this like a critique of American politics? Like it's all about the charisma of a character and not actually the content of their speech that makes it great?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty
Right.
Oh, that's
much.
scary.
Like, we have one guy who can't walk to the podium without being helped. He has to be shown where it's at.
Oh,
We had one
no,
guy who couldn't
we're
even say
not
the
doing
word.
politics, James.
We have one guy who can't say, the word for nuke. We have one
Let's
guy.
it. So
Saying.
Dustin, what's your last one, buddy?
I have a little story about mine, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Me and James have a
Oh,
long
yeah.
history of just going to see any and every movie that exists. Especially when we lived, what was it, like 3-4 minutes away from each other?
Yeah, and Dustin worked at a theater, so there's a lot of times that we just
I
got in every night.
I literally
Yeah.
got a job at a movie theater so we could go see movies for
Yeah.
free. I'm not even joking.
We saw, like, one time we saw
Honestly, it's a
every
really good
movie
idea.
in that theater that we finally were just like, let's go see Twilight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we
Anyway,
hadn't seen everything else.
so I was visiting him and we were just going to see any and every movie that was in the movie theater. And one night we saw something with Keanu Reeves in it. And we were just like, what is this movie? And I was like, I've never seen a trailer or anything. It's called John Wick. I don't know what this is, right? He's like, I don't know what this is either. So fuck it. Let's go see it, right? We go in there. We're like, holy shit, that's William Dafoe. Well, that's pretty cool, right? And we thought it was going to be this drama because it's this man.
Time out. Where's William Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe isn't in that movie.
I think you're talking about Ian McShane.
William Dafoe's in that movie.
I think you're mixing up Dafoe and McShane.
No, hold on.
You're talking about the guy who runs the hotel, right?
No, I'm talking about his assassin buddy, the one that gets killed at the end of the film.
That's
Oh,
right, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all want to sit the fuck down and let me cook?
Shut up.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, getting back to my story. Anyway, so me and James, we're hanging out. We're going to see this movie, and it seems to be this very sad moment of him losing his wife, and goes to the funeral. His friend William fucking Dafoe Willem fucking Dafoe shows up, gives him a pat on the back and tells him it's going to be all right. And he gets this dog, and, it seems to be this drama.
I will say
Right?
it was a cute little beagle.
It was fucking adorable, right?
I
It
own
was a cute
beagles,
dog.
so
And then out of nowhere, these Russians come in and they murder the dog. And we're like, where is this going?
was it? Well, technically, it's just because he wouldn't give them a car.
He wouldn't sell him the car.
Yeah.
He wouldn't sell him the car. They come in, they murder his dog. And we're like, what is happening in this film? The guy goes back to his dad and he smacks the fuck out of him because he messed with John Wick. And he starts explaining that this man, he once saw him stab a man to death with a number 2 pencil. He
Killed
is
3 guys in a bar with a pencil.
He was
With
the one
a
who sent to kill the
fucking
fucking
pencil.
boogeyman.
Yeah, the boogeyman, the Baba Yaga. And we're just like, what the fuck is happening? He takes off his shirt. He's got like, only God can judge me in Russian, like tattooed on his fucking back, and some like guns and shit, and like all these tattoos all over his body and
Yeah.
stuff. And we're like, what is happening?
Bill really messed it up.
It blew our mind. James, am I lying?
No, man, we were sitting there. We're like, what? What's going? And then he starts hammering down and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything, he starts going off and taking out everybody. And we're like, oh, like the
Yeah.
guy in the bathroom. We're like, oh God.
I
I think it
That's why you
was,
don't hurt a man's dog.
yeah,
I still think this is a testament to just going and seeing movies.
yeah.
100% blind, just going because it has an actor in it.
Yeah.
No
Honestly,
trailers, no reviews, nothing.
that speech probably is one of the best I've seen because it literally sets up the rest of the story.
Well, it's
It
also
sets up, it also gives you enough backstory of the character, and it is delivered in such a way that you're like, oh, things are about to get serious here.
Mhm.
So,
And it is the pinnacle. It is the genius of John Wick as a franchise. Keanu Reeves, he might be beloved. We all love him.
Yeah, he's
He,
amazing.
yeah,
Good guy.
he's
absolutely.
breathtaking,
He's Keanu
if you
Reeves.
will, right? He is not the greatest actor that exists. Hot take, I know, right?
That's fine. We
But
don't
they
care.
kept his lines to a minimum, and they let fantastic actors act around Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
and do the acting for him.
I did like John Leguizamo in that movie
Oh,
Hmm.
because when he
also,
got the call from Vigo and he's just like, I heard you struck my son. I'm like, yes, I did. He's like, why? I'm like, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. And the guy's just like,
Oh,
oh, hang up.
yeah, and then his son comes walking in. He's like,
100% get it.
"Ugh."
This was a terrible idea.
can you
All right, so
imagine
I just
the
love how he says,
shit?
he's going to come from you,
yeah,
and
he's
there's
coming.
nothing you
Nothing
can do. You will do nothing because
because
there's
there's
nothing you
nothing you
can
can
do.
do. Yeah.
So,
And then he calls her, be like, listen, can we just work this out somehow? And just like hangs up and just like, well, we're all screwed.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I will give you guys one more. I have about 4 or 5 more that I could give you.
We need
I
to just
have
have a sequel.
I have two out.
Yeah.
We really just need to do a sequel episode. I have two Al Pacino ones that I did not bring up. Scent of a Woman and City Hall.
Hooah.
Ooh, indeed, sir. I have so many that I could give you, but honestly, I gotta go to one of my favorite movies of all time. And I started with him, and I have to end with him, and that's Robin Williams in the Dead Poets Society. There are
Captain,
so
my
many
captain.
great moments in that movie, from his talk about conformity to I let out my barbaric yelp. WW Uncle Walt Whitman. But my favorite one is when he pulls the guys in, like his students in, and he's like, medicine, engineering, politics, these are all noble pursuits. But we don't do poetry for noble pursuits. We don't do it to keep us alive. We do it to make us feel alive. And that we can all contribute a verse in this lifetime. And then he looks at Ethan Hawke's character, who is pretty much the most timid person in the movie. And he's like, you could tell when he's looking at each student, he is trying to put this into their soul. And he looks at Ethan Hawke and he delivers the verse like, what will your verse be? If you have never seen Dead Poets Society, so many great young actors before they actually became great actors were in that movie. You have never seen Dead Poets Society, really?
No.
I think I've seen clips of it. It's been a while too.
I cannot recommend this movie highly enough. Robin Williams, like, especially for being a young kid that has only seen like his goofier movies like Flubber, Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, like Hook, which wasn't really a goofy movie, but he also
Oh,
was playing Peter Pan. Uh,
I got the
Really
figures
sad
up there.
undertones.
that's awesome.
Like,
But seeing Goodwill Hunting, seeing Dead Poets Society, seeing 1 Hour Photo, which blew my mind, seeing him in that. Dead Poets Society is 100% one of the probably top 3 movies I've ever seen him in. easy. So,
Oh,
and we will have to do a sequel episode and actually have Jordan contribute too,
I would
because
be
he
very
he did
interested.
send some stuff into the chat, but I didn't want to take any of his, just in case it got to a point where this episode has gone on a really long time.
Yeah.
So I feel like we will have to do a sequel episode somewhere down the line where we talk more about monologues. But we are also going to do later on other favorite things we like about movies, like maybe specific scenes that we enjoy from our favorite movies, or
Oh, that'd be
battle
cool.
scenes, fight scenes, things like that. Um, I don't know. We just want to talk about our favorite things. Because when the dog barks, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Sound of Music? Anyone? No. All right.
I did
Anyways.
a slow clap.
Oh, I appreciate you, Dustin. Sorry, I wasn't
Yeah.
looking at my computer.
Well, to reference James's Boondock Saints, we need to make like a leaf and get the fuck out. Yeah.
Anyways,
I've got the Taken speech pulled up if you guys want to do this.
We have to do the whole goddamn speech.
It's not that
no,
long.
I don't think we
it's
need
a
to.
paragraph.
Anyways,
How about you film it for a TikTok?
Okay.
all right, that's fine.
Okay.
Let's end the episode and then we can film it for the TikTok.
Okay.
All right. That's it. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/the Centerway Society, over at TikTok, tiktok.com/@the Centerway Society. Obviously YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Yeah, you can listen to our entire first season and all of our episodes we haven't put until this season. Here in season 2, this is episode 4. Episode 5 next week. There won't be an episode 5 next week because it's Valentine's Day and we're super busy next week. So I don't think we're gonna do an episode next week.
Yeah. I have my anime figures to take.
Yes. But after that, what is our next episode? Oh.
Oh, is it directors?
It's director's cut,
Hey.
where we finally get to do our deep dive on Kevin Smith. So I am super excited for that. That'll be in 2 weeks' time. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you for our director's cut, where we tackle Kevin Smith. Bye, everyone.
I'll
See you next time.
Yeah.